Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you so much for coming through this morning. Coming from far and wide to be part of the Global Council for Political Renewal's third conference here in Brussels. My name is Bridget Masango. I have the honor and the privilege to be the president of the Global Council for Political Renewal. And it is my greatest honor this morning to be welcoming you, leaders from different sectors of society who have heeded the call and the invitation of the Council to come and be with us today. We are about to start because I have to profusely apologize for the late start because many of you, if not all of you, have been here since the time when we were supposed to start. We do have the leaders who are participating in the program that have been delayed, and we have been made aware that they are on their way. And so this has necessitated this delay, for which I profusely apologize. So on behalf of the Global Council for Political Renewal, I wish to again greet and welcome you very warmly to this conference. His Excellency, the Honorable Prime Minister of Eswatini, Mr. Russell Dlamini, and in his absentia, His Excellency Jeremiah Kong, the Vice President of Liberia, Honorable former Presidents, Honorable Vice Presidents, Honorable Speakers and Deputy Speakers of Parliaments, Honorable former Presidents, Honorable Vice Presidents, Honorable Members of Parliament, Honorable Ambassadors, leaders and political parties, academics and defenders of human rights, peace and ethical leadership in all sectors of society, leadership of the Global Council for Political Renewal, the Honorable Professor Honsel, who is the founding Secretary General of the Council, Dr. Mahatmi, who is the leader, the chairperson of the Executive Council of GCPR. Ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply overwhelmed by your presence at the Council's third annual conference today. By this welcome, I wish to remind us that ours is a journey that started 3 years ago. From a virtual meeting held on the 31st of March in 2022, the Global Council for Political Renewal was born the next day. That the GCPR was established on April 1 of the same year, which is 2022, was not a prank. April 1 has the uncanny association with April Fool's Day. Anything finding prominent landmark on April 1 is taken with a pinch of salt for believability. Many amici are taken out of unsuspecting people on that day. That we are here and no Mickey has been taken out of unsuspecting people since April 1, 2022 is proof that the GCPR is not a joke. GCPR is no April Fool. It is a serious business of renewal in the public sphere. That starting point and center of the sphere is the people for whom we are here today. What makes this sphere political is because it is about the exercise of public power. The mandate for exercise of the public power derives from the people through periodic elections. The name given to the sphere for the exercise of public power is politics. As is with all things living under the sun, politics have its share of wear and tear that goes with age. As politics grow older, its assumed senses tend to lose their responsiveness. These senses include sight, taste, smell, touch, and hearing. This sixth sense, the intuitive capability to detect harm beforehand, to prevent it before occurrence. The point about these senses is that we should not only see the people that public figures into political office at election time, but also the conditions in which these people live, walk in their shoes, guided by the compassion and empathy to make life better, livable, and worthwhile. The implied ethic here is that elected authority figures should do unto the electorate as the authority figures would wish were they in their shoes, some of whom may not even have a pair to walk on. The question is, do we see the poor? Are the poor visible to authority figures to be delivered from their daily nightmares? Accepting that life has its ups and downs, it has chapters of the fourth sin that is unpleasant, requiring prevention before cure, and that in living this life, some of the unforeseen may not be of our conscious making. This places an obligation upon authority figures to make the bitter taste of life sweeter. The applicable term, familiar at the Global Council for Political Renewal, is making life better. There should always be the fragrance of freshness about quality and standard by which leaders and the led experience each other's interactions. These interactions should be built of mutual trust that the promise to be good shall be honored without fail, but it is expected of authority figures to lead by example. Failure by leaders to be exemplary leads to drop of trust levels that make doing good lose its relevance. Corruption sets in, ethics summarily get tossed out of the window. Since a fish starts to rot from the head, the rest of the body follows to decay, and the smell is not pleasant. The beauty of human life subsists in solidarity. As ease with hands that wash another, so should we as human beings take care of each other so that none is placed in harm's way. Reaching out to touch someone's hand who is in affliction is no less a tribute to making a world a better place to live. It is an act of caring that you are because I am. In my language, back at home in South Africa, it is called Ubuntu. The work Ubuntu may come closer to humanity, but its meaning is vast, without equivalence in the language I'm speaking in now. Authority figures cannot be as deaf as not to hear the screams, pain, wailings, cries of the afflicted. Upon taking political office, let the anguish of those in distress find their ways into our ears to listen, to provide speedy relief. What would the future of humanity be where those that are better off were to care less about the less fortunate to care? Humanity would be lost to our collective peril. Nobler is the power that comes to rescue of the powerless than trampling on them. That is a mark of solidarity to bind ourselves to each other, with each public mandate inviting us to walk into positions of public trust, armed with ethics to do good for good's sake. There's something that lives in us all that gives us signals to sense danger. Feel creeping feeling that comes as a premonition that makes one's hair stand on their end with anxiety or felt tension for increased alertness of danger. This is a sense authority figures dare not lose. Doing so lies the promise. To be and having been a part of this journey is the greatest honor that GCPR has not only bestowed on me, but also to us all. I therefore extend my best wishes to you all for a fruitful deliberation that this annual meeting has invited us to. God bless you. we welcome the Vice President of Liberia as he walks in. We give you a warm welcome, sir, and thank you for being part of the Global Council for Political Renewal's annual conference today. Even as you walk in, I would like to invite His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Eswatini, to please come to the podium and for us to hear what it is that you have prepared for us today. Please give him a warm welcome.
Honorable Bridget Masango, President of the GCPR, Excellencies, it is a great honor to stand before you today, representing the Kingdom of Eswatini, a nation deeply rooted in tradition, peace, and a governance system that is both unique and organically grown. I extend my sincere gratitude to the organizers of the Global Council for Political Renewal for providing this platform where diverse governance models can be shared, understood, and most importantly, respected. We are honored by the invitation that allows us to be able to be part of this venture whilst it is still at its nascent stage. We are confident that through initiatives such as this, we will be able to bridge the divide between those who are entrusted with leadership positions and those whom they are tasked to lead. It is important that this relationship be nurtured so as to maintain unity of purpose in pursuit of the common goal of the betterment of mankind. We praise the vision behind the GCPR and assure you of our intention to support it. Excellencies, being in Brussels, I would like to take this opportunity to express our heartfelt appreciation to the European Union, which has supported Eswatini through various initiatives, including governance reforms, educational advancements, and market access to Eswatini products. These efforts have been crucial in fostering inclusive growth and strengthening our national development framework. The European Union has been a reliable partner, contributing significantly to our national development through support for governance, constitutional reforms, and the introduction of free primary education. The initiative has dramatically improved access to education for thousands of children who would otherwise have been deprived of this fundamental right. Whilst being extremely appreciative of the support we've received, it is of great excitement to us that under the Global Gateway, the European Union is intent on focusing on human capital development. This resonates perfectly well with our intention to address a need identified in our local situation. The need to provide market-ready personnel through upscaling our focus on technical and vocational education and training. The role in providing market access for our beef and sugar has positively impacted our economy ensuring that our agricultural sector remains competitive and vibrant. Eswatini is intentional on addressing the need to continue to diversify our economy. In this regard, we are proud to mention that Eswatini now produces high-quality coffee through the assistance of the European Union, among other commodities, and we seek international markets for these ventures. Eswatini is a country on the move. In addition to constitutional reforms, these reforms have facilitated more inclusive governance, which has enhanced citizen participation and representation. Some of the most significant legislative and constitutional reforms include the enactment of the 2005 Constitution, which enshrined fundamental human rights and freedoms and established mechanisms for inclusive governance. The introduction of free primary education program, a transformative step that opened educational doors for thousands of children, regardless of socioeconomic background. The reform of the Public Order Act, ensuring that the right to peaceful assembly is protected while safeguarding national security. Amendments to the Industrial Relations Act, providing greater protections for workers and promoting harmonious employer-employee relations. Revisions to the Suppression of Terrorism Act, aligning national security provisions with international human rights standards. The establishment of the mechanisms to enhance the independence and accountability of the judiciary, ensuring fair and impartial justice. The expansion of social protection programs to include vulnerable populations, demonstrating our commitment to social justice. The development of new policies to promote gender equality, and the protection of children's rights, and the strengthening the decentralization framework to empower local governance structures and improve service delivery. Excellencies, the theme of this gathering, Together for Ethics, Justice and Peace, resonates profoundly with the way Eswatini has demonstrated its commitment to these principles. During challenging times, for example, Eswatini has engaged in open dialogues, including national forums that brought together diverse stakeholders to discuss governance reforms and foster mutual understanding. Our governance model, the Tinkhundla system, embodies these principles both in spirit and in practice. Ethical governance is upheld as a fundamental principle in Eswatini. The Commission of Human Rights and Public Administration is constitutionally mandated to oversee ethics and human rights compliance, ensuring that public administration adheres to principles of integrity, fairness, and accountability. These institutions collectively reinforce the ethical foundations of Eswatini's governance system, promoting public trust and good governance. Justice in Eswatini is upheld through a constitutionally enshrined separation of powers that guarantees an independent judiciary as outlined in our Constitution. The judiciary operates autonomously, free from interference by the executive and legislative branches, ensuring fairness and impartiality in legal proceedings. Additionally, our community-based governance model ensures that justice is accessible and participatory, with local decisions being integrated into national development plans. The judicial framework, strengthened by constitutional provisions on fundamental rights and freedoms, protects citizens' rights while ensuring due process and the rule of law. These judicial reforms and legal safeguards reflect Eswatini's commitments to a just and accountable governance system. Peace in Eswatini is nurtured through inclusivity, social harmony, and dialogue at all structures and all levels of governance. Our nation has long been committed to peaceful resolution of disputes a commitment evidenced by our membership in the non-aligned movement since gaining independence. This dedication has positioned Eswatini as a neutral and constructive actor in international diplomacy. Additionally, Eswatini has played an important role in the provision of good offices, serving as a mediator in regional and international disputes. National dialogues have been instrumental in easing tensions and building consensus on key national issues, demonstrating our enduring commitment to peaceful conflict resolution. Furthermore, our participation in regional peace initiatives has strengthened cross-border cooperation, reinforcing stability and development within the region. The success of these principles is evident in our community-driven development project and the widespread participation in traditional forums such as Sibaya, where every citizen, regardless of status, can voice their concerns and ideas. These lessons learned from these engagements continue to shape policy reforms aimed at promoting inclusive development. Eswatini is a country with a rich heritage, and its governance evolution is exemplified by key moments such as the introduction of the Tinkundla system, which replaced colonial administrative structures with a participatory community-based model. Historical consultations such as the Sibaya forums have consistently provided platforms for inclusive dialogue and decision-making. We have remained committed to adapting our governance in response to our people's needs while safeguarding our core principles. For instance, our national consultation and forums such as Sibaya People's Parliament have provided opportunities for citizens to influence policy and governance. These gatherings are characterized by robust, candid discussions where individuals freely share their views and contribute to shaping the nation's direction. One of the significant reforms in this regard was the institutionalization of the regular dialogue platforms to ensure that governance processes remain responsive to public concerns. Furthermore, the development of e-governance services has enhanced accessibility and transparency in government operations. Your Excellencies, one of the key elements of Eswatini's governance is collaborative leadership, which is enshrined in our 2005 Constitution. The King exercises executive authority in Council, consulting with various advisory bodies, traditional structures, and representatives of the people. This governance model ensures that decisions are made with broad input reflecting the needs and aspirations of the nation. The King in Council, as stipulated under Section 4 of our Constitution, works closely with elected and appointed officials to maintain a balanced governance, national unity, and sustainable development. This inclusive approach has been instrumental in navigating challenging periods where the nation has prioritized dialogue and engagement over confrontation. For example, during the recent challenges, Sibaya People's Parliament, recognized as the highest policy and advisory council of the nation, was convened, allowing citizens from all walks of life to participate in critical discussions about the country's future. This collaborative structure has also supported institutional reforms, such as strengthening local governance structures to ensure decisions reflect the needs of the people they serve. Furthermore, the creation of new advisory bodies, including youth councils, has expanded citizens' engagement, ensuring broader participation in national development processes. Excellencies, Eswatini's bicameral parliament, as established by the 2005 Constitution, consists of the House of Assembly and the Senate. This structure is designed to ensure broad representation while maintaining the country's traditional governance principles. The House of Assembly comprises more than 76 members, with 59 members elected by the people through secret ballot elections. The King appoints 10 members, ensuring a balanced regional and sectoral representation, while 4 additional members are elected by the House of Assembly to enhance inclusivity. And the Attorney General serves as an ex-officio member. The Senate consists of no more than 30 members, with 20 appointed and 10 elected by the House of Assembly. This ensures a blend of traditional authority and democratic representation, promoting informed decision-making and national cohesion. Excellencies, as we gather here today, under the theme of ethics, justice, and peace, I urge all to appreciate the uniqueness of governance structures across the world. True political renewal is not in the forced conformity to a single model, but it is in the willingness to embrace different approaches that work for different societies. Our world is stronger when we respect and celebrate diversity in governance. Our experience has shown that respect for tradition, coupled with openness and constructive dialogue, provides a strong foundation for social cohesion and national development. This has been evident in the way our cultural institutions, like Ingwala and Mhlanga ceremonies, have united the nation even in difficult times. The diversity of governance models around the world should serve as an inspiration for innovative solutions to shared challenges. Eswatini's experience demonstrates how traditional and modern systems can coexist to promote sustainable development and social harmony. Additionally, cross-border collaborations have provided opportunities to learn from others while preserving our national identity. Excellencies, Eswatini remains committed to upholding peace, fostering ethical leadership, and ensuring that our governance system continues to serve the aspirations of our people. As we engage in these crucial discussions, let us build bridges of understanding rather than barriers of judgment. We look forward to strengthening our partnership, particularly with the Global Council for Political Renewal, as we continue our journey on sustainable development, peace, and prosperity. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Babe Dlamini, for those words. We continue to be encouraged by your leadership and your presence among us this morning. I will, in the interest of time, warmly welcome again His Excellency, the Vice President of Liberia, the Honorable Jeremiah Kong. Welcome him to address us. Thank you, sir.
Good morning. Okay. Thank you. Excellencies, honorable members of Parliament, the President and leadership of GCPR, representatives of international organizations, heads and missions, members of the diplomatic corps, civil society organizations, the media, fellow participants, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia, who have relished the opportunity to participate in these important discussions to promote political cooperation, global peace, and justice. He has asked me to proxy on his behalf and extend his support to this policy dialogue being organized by the Global Council for Political Renewal. I am honored to address this third annual meeting of the GCPR, a gathering of minds dedicated to shaping the future of governance, accountability, and civic engagement. Our meeting here today should not only lament the challenges confronting the foundation of governance across the world, but we are here to renew, re-image, and make affirmative actions for more united and prosperous global society. Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we cannot call for political renewal without trust. Trust is the currency of democracy and good governance. When citizens lose faith in institutional and leadership ability to meet the social economic needs, the social contract of governance is threatened. However, renewal is possible through deliberate, bold, inclusive, and accountable leadership. We must ensure that governance is not just for the people. It requires the full participation of the people in the policy debate that offer lasting solutions to the challenges ahead. Our call for political renewal must also include civic technology that makes governance services more accessible and responsive to the needs of our citizens. Our youth must be encouraged to demand accountability and actively participate in shaping policy that confirm the global belief that democracy is built and not inherited. This is the future of governance, inclusive and accountability. Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I believe that this gathering presents a new opportunity to seek global cooperation that transcends borders to tackle climate change, economic disparity, and security threats. As we leave this council, let us not simply talk about political renewal. Let us exemplify it. We should take this conversation to parliaments, communities, and digital spaces where the future of governance is being shaped. Political renewal is not a destination. It is a continual process. And today in this room, That process must accelerate. I thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, Vice President of Liberia, for that address. We welcome it and we appreciate it as we go forward with the Council. I would like to now welcome and greet very warmly the Honorable Elisa Spiropali, who is the Speaker of Parliament of the Parliament of Albania. You are most welcome to the Third Congress, and we are looking forward to your contribution. Please come through.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies. It was with great pleasure that I accepted the invitation to participate in this meeting, first to convey the support of the Albanian Parliament to the efforts for the Global Council for Political Renewal for a better, fairer, most responsible and more supportive politics, which should serve the common goal of nations, parliaments, governments, political forces, communities, academia, civil society and the media to make the world a better place to live in. Secondly, to share with you some of the efforts we are making in Albania to establish and consolidate a more functional synergy among politics, moral, justice and peace. At present, Albania is a candidate country for the accession to the European Union. We have opened negotiations on 2 clusters, Cluster 1 and 6, and we have just received the invitation from the Polish presidency of the European Union to open negotiations for the 2nd and 3rd cluster, and we are waiting to receive very soon the invitation for the 4th cluster. No exaggeration when I say that Albania is the candidate country progressing the fastest and with the greatest determination toward the European family, having no plan B for our future, except for the prospect of membership in this family to which we are connected by our roots, identity, values, vision, and aspirations for our people. I highlighted the vision and the aspirations of our people because Albania is the country where public support for the European Union membership is massive, greater than in any other candidate country, and this is both an inspiration and an obligation for Albanian politicians and parliamentarians. Efforts to establish a system centered on the principles of liberal democracy are going hand in hand with our contribution to freedom, security, and peace. Albania is committed to safeguarding security and peace without fear of falling into positions of securocracy. We believe that democracy, security and peace complement and support each other. Democracy cannot thrive as long as states in various regions of the world are in conflict or war. Security and peace can only be achieved through the contributions of democratic nations, not through those that incite war. Among Albania's most notable contribution is our investment in the protection of peace and security worldwide, starting first and foremost with the Western Balkans. Albania has currently assumed a leadership role in regional developments and integrations, as well as in the European journey of the countries in the region. Its leading role in the Berlin process and other regional initiatives is part of this mission. Our contribution is asymmetrical to Albania's size, a relatively small country in terms of territory and population, but a remarkable protagonist in security and peace. As a NATO member since 2009, Albania is an active and loyal member of the organization through its peaceful policies and the contribution of its men and women in peacekeeping missions in various countries. The sacrifices, as well as the lives of Albania's peace martyrs serving the cause of security, are both an inspiration and an obligation for the politicians and institutions of my country. Albania has served peace with its visionary and determined leadership through the Albania's OSCE chairmanship in 2020. The fact that this service for security and peace was requested and carried out under the conditions and constraints of the pandemic highlights the vitality of its contributions, the fairness of its positions, it proposed to the organizations, and the high moral standards and undeniable integrity of Albania's leadership for global peace and security. I can say the same for Albania's contribution as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council during 2022-2023, particularly for the fact that along with the United States of America, it was a co-pen holder in support of Ukraine. I must also frankly acknowledge that these challenges, endeavors, often carried out under extraordinary circumstances, which serve global peace and security, were also a self-learning experience for the politicians and institutions of Albania. The constitutions of our countries, as well as our mission and moral as parliamentarians, make us feel duty-bound to involve in this process all actors, political and non-political, governmental and non-governmental, universities, civil society, the public and its citizens, to ensure their support as well as their engagement, contribution and opposition as guardians of the public interest in our societies. From this perspective, parliaments can be successful if parliamentary oversight and contributions are complemented by the contributions of society. We can and should strengthen the democratic system and democratic institutions by consolidating democratic values, and even further by experiencing these values. The soft power that stems from democratic values is a significant reserve, an unlimited resource for development, peace, security, and solidarity among nations. Democracy is not only an irreplaceable system, but also a unique tool for ensuring justice, security, and peace. We can contribute to our democracies not only by denouncing obvious violations of democratic standards or rules, but also by safeguarding against the silent, gradual, and continuous failure of democratic values. This vision should also guide the interaction and partnership between parliaments and other actors of society in strengthening parliamentary oversight against backsliding. The functional correlation among politics, moral, justice and peace is also supported by a non-political condition. In Albania, we have established a vital coexistence and harmony among Muslim, Orthodox, Catholic, Bektashi, evangelical believers, as well as those other faiths and non-believers. This harmony stands out as one of the most precious treasures of the Albanian nation. Tolerance, coexistence, understanding, and religious harmony are not only an asset of the Albanian people which radiates into the world cultures and civilizations, but also an important reference for political life in Albania, in the region, and why not in Europe and worldwide. I have often mentioned to the members of the Parliament of Albania that the Albanian politicians and parliamentarians should learn and are learning from the tolerance of believers, religious communities, and institutions. I believe the same applies to your countries and societies. What I'm saying is so true that even the recent proposal by the Prime Minister of Albania to establish the sovereign state of the Bektashi order in Albania has been welcomed by all religious institutions, communities, and believers. Over the past 3 decades, Albanian immigrants settled in neighboring and friendly countries such as Italy and Greece, in other Western countries like the United States, Canada, Germany, and they have formed communities of the new diaspora. These communities contribute as a source of development for the host countries, as well as for Albania, while also serving as bridges of friendship between their homeland and the countries where they live. Many of them have also been naturalized as citizens of these countries where they reside, enabling them to contribute not only to the economic development, but also to the political systems of these countries. The recent amendments to the electoral legislation recently adopted by the Parliament of Albania provide Albanian immigrants with the opportunity to vote in parliamentary elections. The elections will take place this May. So immigrants or migrants or the old or youth diaspora can vote from the countries where they live. This is an additional opportunity for them to participate in important decision-making processes in Albania and be part of the democratic processes. Finally, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to discuss these substantial issues in the context of our common efforts of promoting peace, democracy, well-being all over the world. I thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of Albania. We dare not forget the people who put us in the positions of authority and leadership that we are in, because it's for them that we are there for. So thank you for those remarks that are truly appreciated. We would like now to hear and welcome the Honorable Speaker of Parliament, of the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament of the Parliament of Ghana, the Honorable Bernard Ahiafo. Please welcome him.
Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Governments, Your Excellencies, Speakers and Presidents of Parliament gathered, Honorable Ministers and Members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, Members of Diplomatic Corps, Honorable Bridget Masango, President of the Global Council for Political Renewal, civil society groups, international observers, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you a warm, hearty, and fraternal felicitations from the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, and the entire membership of our Parliament. Mr. Speaker himself would have wished to be here in person to address you, particularly because of the very high importance he attaches to this event. He was, however, called to attend to an urgent, equally important national assignment, which unfortunately coincided with this meeting. He has therefore designated me to represent him and also extend his apology to you. I will therefore accordingly proceed to deliver his address to this august gathering. I am truly and humbled by the invitation extended to me by the Global Council President, Honorable Bridget Masango, and her diligent team of servant leaders who have committed themselves to seeing political leadership across the globe become an impactful one. Distinguished leaders, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, as we convene to deliberate on the future of governance and global cooperation, we are reminded that renewal is not just a momentary commitment, but continuous process of transformation, adaptation, and reinvigoration. We meet at critical juncture in history, a time when the values of ethics, justice, and peace are being tested across the world. This council stands as a beacon of hope, a platform where diverse perspectives converge in pursuit of a shared vision for a more just and peaceful world. Distinguished leaders, it is significant to state that ethics forms the cornerstone of trust in political institutions. Without ethical leadership, governance risks descending into corruption, inefficiency, and a loss of public confidence. Today, we must reaffirm our commitment to transparency, probity, accountability, and integrity in political leadership. Our commitment to these principles must be unwavering, as the impact of corruption on the global economy is both profound and alarming. For instance, the United Nations and the World Economic Forum estimated that in 2022 alone, corruption resulted in a misappropriation of approximately 5 trillion worldwide. Similarly, Transparency International reported in 2019 that corruption cost developing nations $1.26 trillion, $126 trillion annually, an amount sufficient to elevate 1.4 billion individuals living in less than $1.25 per day above the poverty line and sustain them at that level for at least 6 years. These figures underscore the urgent need for robust anti-corruption measures and the reinforcement of ethical governance worldwide. The GCPR must lead the charge in fostering ethical governance, ensuring that decision-making processes are guided by moral responsibility and the greater good of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, as we strive to renew and strengthen our institutions, we must promote ethical frameworks that guide political conduct, ensuring that power is exercised in service to the people rather than personal or partisan interests. Our commitment to ethics must not be in the words alone, but in action, through the enforcement of accountability mechanisms and the promotion of a culture of responsibility at all levels of governance. Esteemed colleagues, justice is the foundation upon which peaceful and prosperous societies are built. Yet, in many parts of the world, inequality, discrimination, and impunity continue to hinder progress. A renewed global commitment to justice requires that we reform legal and political systems to guarantee equal rights and protection under the law for all citizens. It is for this reason that the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana devoted the entire Chapter 5 to fundamental human rights and freedoms. As members of the GCPR, we must advocate for policies that dismantle systemic injustice and promote inclusive participation in governance. We must also work towards institutions that serve all people, regardless of their race, gender, socioeconomic status, or nationality. Only through fairness, and equitable treatment can we build society that are truly just and sustainable. Distinguished guests, the world today is confronted with conflicts that pose a significant threat not only to individual nations, but to humanity as a whole. Geopolitical tensions, civil war, and violent extremism continues to displace millions and claim innumerable lives. According to the Global Terrorism Index, fatalities resulting from violent extremism and terrorism surged by 22% in 2024, reaching 8,325, the highest recorded since 2017. Additionally, Statista reports that the Israeli-Hamas conflict also accounted for 49,744 deaths, with over 135,725 individuals sustaining injuries. These alarming statistics underscore the urgent need for collective actions, and this should be of a grave concern to all. It is imperative to note that peace is not simply the absence of war. It is a deliberate commitment to dialogue, reconciliation, and mutual respect. We, as a global leaders, must take decisive actions to foster diplomatic solutions, uphold international cooperation, and support multilateral institutions in their peacekeeping efforts. The GCPR should serve as a forum for conflict resolution, advocating for peaceful negotiations over hostility and aggression. Only through solidarity and collective action can we create a world where peace is not just an aspiration, but a reality. Distinguished leaders, to effectively address these pressing issues, I want to use this opportunity to state that the GCPR itself must evolve. Institutional reforms within our Council must be pursued to enhance efficiency, inclusivity, and responsiveness to global challenges. By strengthening our governance structures and fostering greater cooperation among member states, we can amplify our impact on global stage. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to the reforms aimed at establishing a global hub for science and technology and reforming the GCPR Council, I propose the following. 1, develop global ethical standard for political leaders. 2, establish ethics and accountability unit within the GCPR to monitor compliance and provide advisory support to member states. 3, advocate for the establishment of an international parliamentary oversight mechanisms to assess member states' compliance with justice and human rights obligations. 5, establish a GCPR Peace and Mediation Task Force to facilitate diplomatic interventions in conflict-prone regions. Develop GCPR Annual Governance Index to rank and report on countries' adherence to democratic principles, ethics, and justice. Distinguished leaders, this conference is not just a forum for discussion, but a call to action. The renewal we seek must begin with bold leadership and unwavering commitment. Political actors must embrace reforms that institutionalize ethical leadership, deliver justice, and foster lasting peace. Our citizens demand more than rhetoric. They deserve tangible change. As we deliberate over the coming days, let us be guided by a renewed sense of responsibility. Let our words be matched by our actions, and let our policies reflect our aspiration. Together, let us chart a new course for political renewal, one that honors ethics, advances justice, and secure peace for generations to come. I thank you all, and may our collective effort yield a brighter future for humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, First Deputy Speaker, Honorable Ahiafo. Before I call our next Honorable Speaker, I need to mention that on your left-hand side, there are translation devices, because the Honorable Speaker, the next speaker will be speaking in Arabic, and we are provided with translation. So if you just open on your left-hand side, I couldn't take it with me because it's built in. So it will be translated on channel 2. So if you go to channel 2, as the Honorable Deputy Speaker will be speaking, you will be able to hear what his contributions are. So it gives me a great pleasure and to welcome, to address us, and to greet the First Deputy Speaker in the House of Representatives of Libya, the Honorable Fawzi Salem, to please come and address us. Thank you. Let us give him a warm welcome.
أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، السيدات والسادة الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن شعار معا من أجل الأخلاق والعدالة والسلام يعكس مسؤولياتنا المشتركة أمام عالم يواجه تحديات تهدد العدالة والمساواة وتعيق تحقيق السلام الحقيقي. وفي ظل هذه الأزمات تصبح الأخلاق ضرورة حتمية لإرساء العدل وضمان الاستقرار. نحن في حاجة إلى صحوة ضمير عالمي يعيد الأمن والكرامة للمظلومين، وترسيخ العدالة على إنها واجب إنساني وليس مجرد مطلب قانوني. غير أن المجتمع الدولي ومنظماته فشلت في تحقيق السلم والأمن وعجزت عن منع النزاعات، مما يعزز هيمنة القوي على الضعيف وعمق الانقسامات. إنما يتعرض له الشعب الفلسطيني أبلغ دليل على فشل الأمم المتحدة في تنفيذ قراراتها. فالاحتلال الصهيوني المستمر والتطهير العرقي وجرائم الحرب ترتكب وسط صمت دولي مخزي. هل سيحاسب المحتل؟ وإلى متى يبقى الكيان الصهيوني فوق القانون؟ كما نرفض بشكل قاطع أي مخطط لتهجير سكان غزة قسراً، ونؤكد موقفنا الثابت في دعم القضية الفلسطينية حتى انهاء الاحتلال وإقامة دولة المستقلة التي عاصمتها القدس الشريف. أما في ليبيا بلادي فقد عمل مجلس النواب بصفته السلطة التشريعية المنتخبة على سن القوانين لتحقيق السلام والاستقرار، لكن التدخلات الخارجية عمقت الأزمة وأطالت معاناة الشعب. الحل لن يكون إلا بيد الليبيين عن طريق الانتخابات حرة ودستور دائم ومصالحة وطنية حقيقية. السيدات والسادة الحضور الكريم، ليبيا دولة ذات سيادة وشعبها قادر على تجاوز خلافاته إذ توقفت التدخلات الخارجية. لذا ندعوكم ومن هذا المنبر لحث المجتمع الدولي ولتكثيف الجهود الدبلوماسية والتواصل على إنهاء الاستقطابين الدولي والإقليمي اللذين يعرقلان استقرار بلادنا وجل البلدان. في الختام أشكركم على حسن الإصغاء، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, First Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives in Libya, for those brief but valuable comments that you have made this morning. I just want to confirm that it has just been confirmed that the session for this morning that we have had since we started is now going to be, there's going to be a break, a coffee break that will last from now, which is 10:40. Okay, so we will come back at 11:10. And gather back here for the next session of the council. Thank you so much for your attention this morning. We appreciate it. Thank you.